Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you to Batman vs. Robin, issue 3. And I have a love hate relationship with this issue because I'm enjoying what the story is of the stakes that are happening with Niza and what's happening to all these mystical heroes and what their fate's becoming, the torment and struggle that Damian Wayne's dealing with, and of course the emotional fight that Bruce Wayne is having to deal with. However, the one thing about this book that's really pissing me off is the fact that there was a trope, and I've spoke about it in the other 2 issues, that I was hoping was not going to show up in this book, and it's starting to seem like it is. I don't know how many issues this book is, but needless to say, I had to stop. I got pissed real quick. So before we talk about all the Robins and current Robins, ex-Robins going to fight the Dark Knight, let's talk about who made this book. This is Mark Waid writer, Mahum Asar and Scotty Golwinski doing the art, Jody Barlow colors, and Steve Wan's lettering. Here's everyone else working on the book, and Batman was created by Bill Finger with Bob Kane. So what's great is the fact that Bruce knows that he's being pulled into a trap, but he's like, I don't have a choice. And he's not sure what's going to be out there to meet him. Now, what I liked is when I first got into this, Damian faces his mother. He goes, I'm talking now. Stop calling yourself a mother. You're nothing of the sort. Mothers are kind, nurturing. Good mothers don't program their children to become killing machines. And she just kind of has this, wishy-washy look on her face. And she goes, I suppose you're right. They raise soft little boys whose lives have little or no purpose. You should be thanking me. Don't give me that condescending smile, you officious harridan. When Grandfather Roz wanted to change for the better, he surrendered everything and gave himself to the authorities. He knew that it's not enough simply to say, I'm different now. You have to take action to prove it. You have to answer for your past sins. Now, I like those lines that Damian's actually confronting her with, but before we go any further, it says in the now classic Batman Shadow War, which was apparently a couple months ago, or almost a year ago now. Okay, wow. I don't recall ever hearing anything about the Shadow Wars. From what I understand, Ra's al Ghul was killed by Deadshot, but he's not now. Can you guys kind of clue me in? Because I was like, well, maybe I'll go read it, because I thought maybe it was like Shadow Wars 1 through 6. But no, it's like, gotta read Batman, gotta read Deathstroke, gotta read this book. No, I'm not doing that. I'm so freaking sick of that. So let me know if it's worth the damn to read or not. Anyway, he says, how are you going to prove, an answer for your sins? How are you willing to pay for yours? And just this deadpan silence. That's what I thought. And it just kind of shows the emptiness of Talia al Ghul. And it really sucks because you could really see there's moments like when Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason were writing her and Robin, Son of Batman, I think it was the series. She actually showed some remorse and love for her son, as we're here, she's just shown to falter back into her dictator ways. Now, while that's happening, and again, if you haven't read the first 3, spoiler alert, they teased this at the end of the last issue, and that's why I didn't bring it up. But Niza has possessed all the ex-Robins, or modern, I guess you could say current Robins, ex-Robins, what do you want to call it. But the first one up is Tim Drake. And the way that Tim just kind of tears into him, not just physically, but verbally. He goes, I was your Robin for years, and I was damn good at it. And the minute Damian came on the scene, he replaced me. And you said nothing. I disappeared in your eyes. And so Bruce says, Tim, you didn't need me anymore. I knew you were doing fine on your own. As with Damian, possessed Tim is laying bare his deepest buried grievances. I can't take them personally. At least that's what I say. But that doesn't make him wrong, could I have done better by Tim? And so even though he's having to take down his sons and daughters, it leaves him shook to the core. Let's get past these stupid variant covers. Get past, what's her name? The Queen of Fables. It's another thing. You guys read the book. I don't want to spoil everything. But here, this character is taken prisoner, and I can't remember his name, and I'll be honest with you, I don't really care. His name's Pigsy, or Zhao Baji Pigsy, or something like that. And you have to read another book to see him get captured, which is like, come on. But I like this character because he really gives some insight into Damien here in a minute. Now, while all that's happening, we get the moment with Stephanie Brown. She goes, I'd hang on to that laser if I were you. I'm just getting started. You never took me seriously. You always made me feel like a mascot, not a Robin. I was clay in your hands. You could have made me into anything. And you didn't even bother trying. Because he says Stephanie Brown was the only Robin I had to fire. And he says that she's Batgirl now under the tutelage of Barbara Gordon because she has more patience than I do. And he says, she's right. I didn't even give her the time that she deserved. And then while that happens, then the hardest one hits Jason, the violent one. Don't worry, Bruce. I'm right here. I wanted to be easy to find since you hate looking for me so much. We're all disposable to you, yeah? I died and came back to life, and you still ignored me. And Bruce tries to say you were a criminal on the run. So what? You knew I was damaged. You knew I was wandering around not in my right mind. Why didn't you search for me? How could you not have spent every waking second trying to save me? I don't have an answer. Maybe I was afraid of what I'd find. Have to own up to it. A ward that I let turn into a Joe Chill. I feel like that would have paralyzed me with self-loathing. So while the artwork is serviceable and is beautiful, it's what we're reading. How Damien is shaking the Dark Knight is what makes it worth it. And then after he gets shook and Damien gets his own little medicine, he speaks to this guy named Pigsy again. He goes, come on, kid. I'm sensitive to stuff. I can feel it. Deep down, there's a part of you pushing against Nisa's control. Or else you wouldn't be standing here. He says that Nisa's only doing this so he can fight a bigger god. He goes, effectively, how does this mother's soul, his grandmother, fit into this? That part of you that's fighting Nisa's control. Push. Scorched earth. She wants a new Garden of Eden to manipulate. An earth with almost no humans left to poison it. Basically the same goals as her son with Ra's al Ghul, times 10. Then my question stands. What does that leave for you? And he falters. He goes, that's what I figured. Damien, hear me out. I've known Nisa since we were both young. He used to be a hero. Did you know that? He corrupted his soul. But before anything can happen, Nisa steps in. Read to what happens. And here, we finally get the two. Not just the one, but the two fights. And this is where the book pissed me off. Because Dick actually poses a great question. He says, I was in the circus. I was the master of the trapeze, prince of the high wire. People used to come by the thousands to see the flying Graysons. Their applause were electric. The rush was unbelievable. Then you took me away from the joy of recognition and hid Dick Grayson behind a mask. And Bruce says, he never said that before. Should I have realized? And you find out what's really going on. But these questions that are being posed, it makes you think all of these years, what's going on? Now, as I said, here, him holding Alfred, it's a very beautiful moment. I don't want to give away everything that's happening, but it's the moment that really hurt my Girk. But with that said, guys, that is basically the meat and potatoes of what Batman and Robin issue 3 was. And I love it because it attacks these hidden self moments that you try to keep away from yourself, that you're too afraid to face, so you bury it. And here it's on display for everyone to see. The artwork works for this series. Beautiful colors, beautiful inks, but it's the story that's really grasping me. So if you guys have enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. If you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Robin bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and we love talking with you all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.